what are some things that'll hold you back on your financial freedom journey? Whether you want to move to another country and live off passive income or dividends or whatever form of a business you create, there are some things that will hold you back, and there are some things that you inevitably have to let go of in order to aspire to attain a certain level in life, right? So, as far as, the thing that's most important to the least important, we'll cover that. But as far as your progression towards a life of freedom and your actual attainment of that reality, there are some things that will prevent you completely from attaining that, and then there are also some things that will just hold you back and delay, your freedom years to come, right? Like instead of maybe achieving the freedom goal in 5 years, it might take you 10 years, it might take you 15 years if you make certain mistakes that I'll cover here in this video. So what is the main thing, the number one thing that will prevent this completely? Number one is moving in with a woman and having children too early. As far as your goal, your financial freedom goal, the thing you have to learn, right? So when it comes to relationships and being able to relate with each other, especially if you're with a woman, is she has to fit your plan, right? So if you want to have kids or be in a relationship and still attain financial freedom, it is possible, right? But the woman that you choose to be with, right, has to align with your vision, has to submit herself to the life that you are creating, that you are embodying, right? And so as far as money goes, right, like, does your girl work, right? Does she budget? Or if she doesn't work, right, is she being an asset to you, right? Is she using your money for things that are necessities or things that are liabilities that are just not needed, right? So women are typically more consumeristic, right? They control 3/4 of the debt. They're 80% of the consumer base. So you have to really understand that picking the wrong woman can be drastic, right? Because they are value extractors, right? They want to consume, right? Men are producers primarily, and women are consumers primarily, right? And so you have to look at the relationship you have with your woman and evaluate it as a way as a relationship that's going to flourish into something greater, into a relationship that can flourish and become something great and magnificent, or something that'll hold you back and take from you, right? Because here's the thing, here's the reality. Your woman's either doing one of two things. She's either adding to you, she's either giving to you, or she's taking from you, right? Now, obviously we give and take, right? But primarily, right, she needs to be giving to you. She needs to, understand that if it's your program, right, which I'm sure you guys want your girl to be on your program, then there's a certain way that she needs to operate, right? And if she doesn't operate in those ways, right, then you have to let her go, right? Because again, I don't know about you guys, right, but and this is a tough one for a lot of guys, but I'd rather be financially free and single than working a job for 40 years just to have some pussy. That's it. I would. And again, that's a tough one for a lot of you guys, right? That's a tough one. Now, obviously we want relationships and we want, sex and everything, right? And that intimate relationship. But as far as like choosing one or the other, right? If your girl is a detractor of money and a detractor of your goals, right, then you have to let her go. And that might be a hard pill to swallow for some of you guys, but it's gonna significantly hold you back, right? Or destroy you, right? If you end up having kids and now you have to pay for kids, and then now if you want to break it off later in life, or you realize, shit, this wasn't the woman that was going to give me the value that I needed, then well, now you have to pay the child support and the alimony and all the great stuff that comes along with that. So that's something that will absolutely prevent you completely from achieving your financial freedom goal, whatever goal that is. Number two is, I would say, addictions. And why do addictions prevent you from achieving your goal? Not because they cost money, although some addictions do cost some money, but they take life from you. They take from you. Pornography takes time and energy from you. Video games takes time from you, right? Drugs like weed, alcohol, it takes time from you, it takes money from you, and it takes energy from you, right? So the things you need to attain financial freedom, time, energy, and money, right? Those things are taking from you. So if you're not having the most amount of time, the most amount of energy, and the most amount of money going towards your passive income, going towards your business or whatever you're trying to produce that can create income, then by default your energy is going out and not going to the place that it needs to go, right? So seriously, you guys need to evaluate, which addictions you have, which ones need to be completely eliminated or reduced, and start really looking and being like, yeah, I need to drop this, I need to stop, right? And you know what's funny? I'll tell you guys something that's like really not mind-blowing, but pretty common sense. When you start working a lot, when you start learning, when you start seeing progress, when you start just being like, everything that you do is centered towards your purpose and your passion and your mission in life, when everything is all encompassing, it's hard for you to want to go to addictions. It's hard for you to want to drink, to smoke, right? Because you have to look at addictions, right, and understand why people do them in the first place, why people get consumed by them in the first place, right? And I would say that they get consumed by them in the first place because they are escaping, not a feeling, right? I mean, yeah, we'll smoke weed because we feel like shit or we're stressed out. But for the most part, guys, a lot of people drink and smoke and get involved in pornography and gambling and all this shit because they don't like their life. They don't like what they don't like what they're doing, and they don't like the future that's ahead of them. Everyone knows deep down who abuses drugs, who abuses alcohol, weed, pornography, gambling, junk food, the video games, the list goes on. They all know that their life is going to shit. They all know that they don't have the self-worth, the self-image, and the actionable steps and execution plan to follow through with a life that's meaningful, with a life that can, give them the joy that they want. So they have to fill that joy. They have to get joy from somewhere. They have to get that happiness and that those good feelings from somewhere, right? Because normally, right, if you're achieving your goals, if you're hitting certain metrics, right, if you're on path to creating the life you want, you get dopamine from that. Like I get dopamine when I make a great day trade. I get dopamine when I see my portfolio shoot up. I get dopamine when I make a great YouTube video, right? When I see you guys commenting, right? And now obviously that can be a trap as well, but I'd rather have those good sources of dopamine, right? Or I get dopamine from hitting a workout or being in the sun, right? Like you guys have to realize that there's when your life is centered around health and financial freedom and living harmoniously with natural laws and sleeping well, right? You get joy from those things. You get happiness, and your neurotransmitters are aligned and they work well with what you do, right? Like your serotonin, your dopamine, your oxytocin, your what's the other one? Your endorphins. All of these neurotransmitters, right? You don't need drugs because you get enough of them from the life that you're living, right? So drugs will significantly take time from you. They will take energy from you. And if it's cigarettes, if it's weed, if it's alcohol, if it's any other hardcore drug, it will take a lot of money from you, right? So these are some things, obviously these are not irreversible, like you can stop, right? But I would argue that they are primarily one of the things that hold a lot of people back, for damn sure, right? Obviously, you have friends involved with that, and that leads me to my next one. Friends, relationships, family, things that keep us trapped, people who keep us in a low frequency, people who keep us down or keep us in a state where we think life is supposed to be a certain way. Growing up with parents who, again, were my parents are middle class, like they're not poor, right? But they have a certain way of life that isn't conducive to the way life is heading towards, right? We're heading into AI, we're heading into technology, we're heading into crypto, right? And a lot of people that are, like my parents, they're older, right? They're in their 60s. I'm sure you guys have parents that are the same way. They'll question you, like, don't try that. Oh, real estate, oh, crypto, oh, online business, oh, what's that? No, stick to your job. Just get a 401k, work for 40 years, right? Don't try that stuff. You could lose money, right? All sorts of things to keep you in a fear-based, comfortable spot, right? So you guys have to really understand, right, that maybe your parents don't have bad intentions, right? But they're limited, right? Because not everyone, even if you grow up with parents that are middle class or somewhat successful, not all of them are going to align with the vision you have. Not all of them are going to align with the sort of life that you want to live, right? And so as a result of that, right, you have to be able to detach from certain family members, from certain friends, right, that may be holding you back. And the hardest thing about what I'm talking about right now is being alone, right? Because as a result, obviously you're just going to be alone, right? Like if you don't have a circle of friends that are on the same wavelength or talking about the same ideas and giving you feedback and giving you inspiration, then as a result, like there's no way that you can grow, right? Like you can't grow with people who are they're not pulling you down, but they're just not going anywhere. And as a result, by them not going anywhere, if you hang around them, well, shit, obviously then you're probably not going to be going anywhere either, right? So, it's a hard, again, a lot of these these things I'm talking to you guys about are tough pills to swallow, right? Like being with the wrong woman, right? Getting married too early, having kids too early, quitting certain addictions that are comfortable and feel good, cutting off certain friends, cutting off relationships and family members that are not tearing you down again by intention, but just as a byproduct of who they are and who they grew up around and what they know and what they're familiar with are tearing you down. So guys, you have to really be able to be okay with being by yourself. And you know what? I'm sure some of you guys are, okay with it, but there's a joy that comes with being alone, right? Like we live in a society where obviously, we have social media and everything, and a lot of people think life's meaning is found in relationships, right? And obviously I'm not saying that life isn't about creating connections and having meaningful relationships. It certainly does have a component to it. But guys, you can live a good chunk of your life and be content and be happy by yourself, right? So, if you don't have friends that are out there, on the same wavelength or aligned in the same way or on the same path, don't be afraid to be alone. Don't try to escape your boredom, escape your solitude, escape your aloneness, right? Just to fit in or just to escape a feeling of maybe you're sad or maybe you're angry or maybe you feel alone, right? Like it's okay, right? Like it's okay to feel alone and it's okay to be alone, right? Like a lot of times, even myself, I went to a lot of parties in high school and I went to a couple in college, but guys, like there's really not much to it, right? Like it's again, and this isn't to denigrate anybody, this isn't to talk bad about anybody, but if you go and you hang out, grab a couple drinks, right? Like, you shoot the shit, but that's about it, guys. That's about it. We're just shooting the shit. You're just getting hammered, right? Like there's really not much to it as far as like the social life aspect that is brainwashed into you is supposed to somehow make your life better, right? Like we're supposed to, I feel like we're in, modern society, like our parents and, the whole college system is created for us to fit in, to socialize, but what are we socializing about? You guys have to realize that, like, what are you talking about? When you're with people, what ideas are you talking about, right? There's a saying that, I forget who it's by, but I'll say this, I'll mention it. Average people talk about other people, brilliant people talk about ideas, and successful people talk about innovations or something like that, right? You guys know, I'm sure, you just look it up, you'll find it. But the point is that like you need to think about ideas, you need to think about systems, you need to think about ways to become successful, you need to think about how to become self-sufficient, how to be happy, how to be educated, how to be knowledgeable, and how to be competent, right? Like those are things that actually have real world implication, right? Going and shooting the shit with your buddies, that's cool, right? Like I'm not saying you can't have a good time. I had a good time last week, with a couple buddies, right? But you guys have to really know that there's a time and a place for that. And, you know, most of your friends should at least be aspiring to achieve a better life, right? Whether they're in school trying to get something that's a high profitable skill that can pay a lot, right? Like, because that's going to give you motivation, right? So you want to surround yourself with individuals who are motivating and who have potential new ideas that you can you know, bounce off of and use, right? So, you know, because you don't know everything, I don't know everything, but you know, if I'm around the right people, I can figure out ways to improve myself, right? So yeah, I mean, those are just some things that will, you know, significantly hold you back, that will significantly waste your time, that will waste your money, that will waste your energy. And, you know, as far as you becoming financially free and becoming, you know, whether you want to be a digital nomad or you want to have a family and live off passive income and run a business, whatever form of financial freedom, because there's so many different ways to become free and there's so many different ways to live off your income. Whichever way it is, you have to make sure that you avoid these traps. And I think if you avoid these traps, right, if you stay consistent with your execution plan, if you hit your metrics, right, if you budget, if you invest according to plan, then you'll be well off, you'll be fine, right? But again, don't fall into these traps, right? Because, you know, as time progresses, right, there'll be temptations, there'll be things that are, you know, trying to grasp your attention, right? And you have to realize, you know, that's probably not for me. That friend right there, I don't know about you, buddy. This girl over here, yeah, you're cute, but you might be some trouble, right? These addictions over here, yeah, I can't hang with those addictions anymore. They gotta go, right? So you have to just be aware and be mindful of your surroundings, be mindful of what you get involved with. And again, I think if you spend most of your time, you know, in solitude and growing your skill set and growing your you know, your talents, your abilities, and executing and bringing those forth and bringing those forward to the world, I think you'll be fine. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.